So let's go ahead and get down to some simplification. This is all about organization. So the very first thing we're going to do is anywhere we don't see an exponent, well, that just means there's one. So for example, this y right here, it's just got a 1 exponent. So your pro tip is to write a 1 for an exponent if we don't see one. So now that we have our pro tip out of the way, let's go ahead and get this organized. So we know that we can combine together things that are similar. So for example, I have this integer value here, -4, and I have a 5 there. Well, those are the same type of things. So since the order of multiplication doesn't matter, I'm just going to rewrite them together. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my x's. And then I'm going to do the same thing with y's. And lastly, the z's. Now that I have everything in the correct kind of order, I'm going to just combine things together. Now when I get to these, I have the same base, so I can just add the exponents. In this case, I've got -2 plus -3, or just -5. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to reciprocate where I have negative exponents. Getting back to that organization piece, I always find it easier if I know I'm going to have numerators and denominators to just write out a fraction bar to start. Now anything with a positive exponent is going to stay on the top. Anything with a negative exponent is going to go to the bottom. So let's start with the positive exponents. Again, pro tip. This -20 doesn't have an exponent. I'm going to go ahead and give it that 1 exponent, which is of course positive, so it'll stay on the top, as will the 7 to the positive 6th power. And then I'll get on to my negative exponents. I've got an x to the -5th. I'm going to toss that on the bottom, and since I've taken care of the reciprocation, I'm going to give it a positive exponent. And the y to the -6 becomes y to the 6th as long as I reciprocate it and put it on the bottom. Now, the last thing is to check for any additional simplification. In this case, there aren't any of the same variables on the top and bottom, and there's no integers on the top and bottom, so I am done. This is simplified. This is definitely not the only way to do this. In fact, one thing that I would say is once you get comfortable with this, you'll likely go from this step right down to this step. But this is a kind of drawn out, not skipping any steps, really making sure we're careful method that'll work 100% of the time.